Hello YouTube, how is everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I got a video breaking down some of these GTA 6 leaks. I was debating whether I should make a video or not on this, but I was thinking there is some credibility behind this, and I will basically give you guys my thoughts on this, on whether I think what I think in these leaks is true and what I think isn't, because I think there's some truth in these leaks, and I'll show you why I think that way, and then I think there's some things that are actually totally fake. But I'll explain everything. But before we start this video, I want to thank today's sponsor. Check out eWin's gaming chairs. Right now, they got a New Year sale going on. And if you use my code TP, you can get an extra 30% off. And my code will work on anything on the site. It's not just for gaming chairs. It will also work for any gaming desks that you guys might be interested in. This is the new eWin Champion gaming chair. And this chair is made out of ergonomic cushions, which make it very comfortable to sit in. It is the most comfortable gaming chair that I've ever sat in. And what I love about this chair is I love how magnets play a huge role in this. Like, for example, these armrests, these are actually interchangeable. And these just clamp on just like that because of the magnets. This one, just like that too. Very easy to assemble this chair. The slide covers, same thing like that. Put on just by magnets. This chair does not take very long to put together. You could put this chair together in less than an hour. And here we actually have a few pillows. This one on the bottom, this one is not magnetic, but this one you can put here in the middle, or you can just keep it down there. But this one up here, this one is actually magnetic. And so you can stick it like here, or stick it up here, and so you don't have to worry about holding this pillow constantly at your back. The chair also has an adjustable lumbar system, both horizontal and vertically. Here I actually have it on the lowest back setting right now. And what I like about this chair is this chair also has a lot of weight resistance. This chair actually has 400 pounds of weight resistance, so it's very strong in its design, and it's very durable. Let me actually show you guys that weight test right now. Okay, and so this is the weight test. So again, this chair can hold 400 pounds of weight. I don't recommend to stand on that chair with wheels, but we're just doing this for the test. So you guys can see right here, 400 pounds, and I'm around 150 pounds. So this chair can hold a lot of weight. It's very strong. I do trust it, and it's made out of good, strong material. Additionally, about these magnetic armrests that I talked about earlier, these you can actually fully adjust for height. So right here, we're adjusting them, making them the tallest we can. And we can actually push this in or push it out. So here, push that in. That is fully adjustable. On top of that, this chair actually does have a recline option, so you can lay down, take a nap. I like doing this, especially after working on a big lore video like I worked on here. You can just do that. And you can also lock the chair in place, adjust the pillow here underneath her head or neck. We can lock the chair in place so you don't have to worry about this chair actually tilting over like other chairs, which is just nice. Great to relax in. And really easy to just pull right back up. And we can adjust whatever setting that we want on this. Okay, so I wanted to talk about these leaks, and I'm going to link GTA 6 Countdown's Twitter page here. It's a great channel, but basically he listed off the potential leaks, and he listed off also the links to these leaks. And I'm actually going to show you guys first here this IGN article. This IGN article, this is January 7, 2026. Union asks judge to grant fired GTA 6 devs interim relief at preliminary tribunal hearing. Rockstar denies claims. And so this is very important because a Rockstar developer had been fired in 2023, and according to Rockstar, they were leaking stuff. You know, the employees are claiming this was over a union, but they had an employee that was fired in 2023 and the other employees that were fired in 2025. But we had a big leak that came out in 2023, and I didn't really believe that leak when it happened. I personally didn't really believe it, but now some people are saying it has more credibility because that leak came out 1 month before that developer actually got fired. The leak came out in October 2023. The developer got fired in November 2023. So we don't know if that's 100% tied to the leak, but that's, what basically some people are speculating on. So the Independent Workers Union of Great Britain has asked a judge to grant the fired GTA 6 developers interim relief as a preliminary employment tribunal hearing held in the UK this week. Rockstar Games, which also attended the hearing, has issued a response to claims denying a number of points made by the union. Rockstar has insisted that the employees it fired late last year were dismissed because they leaked game features for upcoming unannounced titles in Discord, not because they were trying to unionize. 34 members of staff at Rockstar were dismissed, 31 in the UK and 3 in Canada, sparking protests outside the office of GTA 6 developer Rockstar North in Edinburgh, Scotland, and outside parent company Take-Two's office in London. Here you have a picture of some of the protests that are going on. And Rockstar is being investigated right now by the UK government for violating union policies, union laws. But anyways, about this, like I said earlier in my other parts, I think that there's truth to both of these stories. I think that there was some leaks going on, but I also think that Rockstar had fired these workers because they wanted to unionize. I think that's also part of it. Here's what I think happened. I don't have proof for this, but I think basically there was a bunch of, employees that were in a Discord together, which isn't really anything not normal, as employees at large companies would be in group chats together with each other. And I think, they were getting pissed at Rockstar for how they were being treated, and one guy probably added a reporter to the group chat. That's at least what I think happened, because they knew what could have possibly happened if a reporter gets added to the group chat. They're immediately going to get terminated. So I think one guy basically just said F it, and just decided to add the reporter to the group chat, and I think that basically Rockstar used that as an excuse to get rid of everyone. That's basically what I think happened. They're saying, oh, everybody that was in that group chat was complicit, even though it was probably one guy who added him. At least that's my thing. That's what I think probably happened. That's at least the most logical situation for me. The IWGB, which has represented the affected staff in the UK, has refuted Rockstar's claim, saying that the workers only communicated in private and legally protected trade union channels. So if they had a reporter in that Discord, then that changes things a lot. On Monday, January 5th, a preliminary hearing at the Glasgow Tribunal Centre in Scotland saw the IWGB represent the fired Rockstar workers and make a case for why they should be granted interim relief. Interim relief is a legal mechanism that can provide workers with support while they wait for a full hearing. This week's tribunal will decide whether or not the workers will receive the interim relief while awaiting a date for a trial. If the interim relief is granted, the workers will be put back on Rockstar's payroll and have their work visas reinstated when necessary. Now, we go down here. This is the part that's pretty important, because this is a long article. I don't want to go through the whole thing with the article itself. I know you guys want me to talk about the leak specifically. Okay, so 2023. This is what's important. And Rockstar's point to its well-established zero-tolerance approach to leaks, highlighting that it dismissed a Rockstar employee in Lincoln, UK in April 2025 who had allegedly disclosed confidential information about GTA 6 to a third party who published the information to social media, and dismissed an employee in the US in November 2023 and another in India in November 2025 for two separate acts of information leaking. So this is important right here. This is important. They said that according to Rockstar, somebody was leaking in November 2023, and these leaks had shown up in October 2023, 1 month before that firing. So this is this is one of the leaks. I'm gonna link this down below for you guys if you guys want to check this out. And like I said, I'm the people that posted these leaks, I'm not gonna accuse them of lying. And the reason I'm not going to accuse them of lying is because I don't have proof that they are lying. The only thing I'm going to say here is I'm going to say that they could be telling 100% the truth. I don't know. And if I'm wrong about any of this stuff, when GTA 6 comes out, I'll happily admit that I'm wrong. Like, when I'm playing through the game making videos, I'll happily admit I was wrong on some of these leaks. But I think that there's some truth in these leaks, and I think there's some things that are false. That's at least my opinion here. This post page, the guy who made this, I think, is deleted, but the page is still here. Predictions about the game 2 years ago. Hey folks, it's been a while since we last heard anything from Rockstar about GTA 6, and since we had any information about the game other than the leaks, so I wanted to share some interesting things with you that I was told by someone who worked in the game. I won't be using names for obvious reasons, and I ask you treat this information I provide in this thread as a mere speculation. I want to make clear that I couldn't verify any information myself, as I didn't have access to the game, but I guarantee that the person who gave me this information is a reliable source. Unfortunately, you'll have to trust what I'm saying, or just don't. Feel free to come back to this thread after the game is released. Also, as the game is still under development, any information I provided here might be inaccurate, as things change between the development phase and the final release. Here's what I know. The state name is indeed Leonida. Okay, now this here, this is probably the most accurate thing right here so far. This gives credibility to this, because Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I don't think that the state of Leonida was revealed with the leaks that happened in 2022. I know that Lake Leonida was a thing in 2022, but I don't think they called it the state of Leonida. And I think based on that, people were saying that it could be the state of Leonida. That's what some people were saying. At the time, I didn't think it was the state of Leonida. I didn't think that. I thought it was going to be called Florida, because in GTA 4, it's called Florida, and that's the HD universe. But apparently, Rockstar has changed this lore. Now, he says here, the map is bigger than GTA 5, but not as big as most people would expect. It's around 30 to 50% bigger, but way more dense and detailed, and apparently Rockstar has plans to expand it over time. Okay, so this here, I'm taking this with a grain of salt, because I will tell you, if this is true, I'm gonna be really disappointed if this is true. If the map is only between 30 to 50% bigger, I'm really gonna be disappointed. I am. Because, we've been waiting 12 years for this game, and I'm not trying to sound ungrateful, but I'm expecting the map to be at least 3 times the size of GTA 5. That's what I say. GTA 5 is not that big of a map. If you think about it, there's open world games that are actually bigger than GTA 5's map. And GTA 5's map has a lot of, to be fair, a lot of, hills that basically have nothing on them. And so that's just basically a way to make the map bigger. It was GTA 5's map, you have to remember, was created for PS3 and Xbox 360, and then it was just remastered for PS4, Xbox One, and then for PS5 and Xbox Series X again. So it was remastered 2 times. So that's basically the backstory on that. But if it's more dense and detailed, I guess that'll be better. But I guess we'll have to see, because remember that there is the state of Gloriana, which I will have right here. This is from the GTA Wiki, by the way. The state of Gloriana, this is based in the state of Georgia. So, for example, in GTA 4, we had the state of Alderney, which is, based on New Jersey. But even though Leonida, which is based on the state of Florida, is where the majority of the game takes place, the northern part of the map is going to be Gloriana, which is based on Georgia. And, about this right here. So here you can see a picture. These are the license plates from Gloriana. And I will tell you, if they're going to have a different state in this game, like a different, state, and the map is only 30 to 50% bigger, that basically, it just makes me take that with a grain of salt. I think that the map in reality could probably be a lot bigger than 30 to 50%, but we'll have to see. Besides Miami and its surrounding areas, there will be 3 islands in the game, one of them being heavily inspired by the Bahamas. If they add an island that is based on the Bahamas are a separate country. So that might be the first time that we are in a country outside of the U.S. in a GTA game. Because I'm thinking of it, I don't think there was ever any mission, outside the U.S. except GTA London. I get that. But when we're talking about the 3D and the HD games, I don't think there was any mission ever outside of the U.S. I don't think there was any. There was different missions where we traveled to different cities, like in San Andreas, we went to Liberty City, but there's never been one where we went to a different country outside the U.S. And so if they actually have that, they would have to create a different, police force for those Bahama Islands. They would have to, create different architecture because it's a different, country, different culture, different people there. So they would have a lot of work on that. So I'm not saying it's unbelievable, but this is the first time that I'm hearing that we would ever be able to, part of a GTA map would be another country. The map won't make it until Orlando, unfortunately. Only Miami, its surrounding areas, and a few other remote locations. And a city in the west, apparently a parody off of Fort Myers. So yeah, Orlando is a pretty big city. And Miami is supposed to be the biggest Miami or Vice City is supposed to be the biggest city. And so there's probably going to be smaller cities and towns in Leonida, but having another thing like Orlando, probably not. They're probably going to focus on a big city. So this is probably true. There's a fort city inspired by Fort Knox where they stash gold on it. I don't know. Maybe. Possibly a heist there. There's a bike trail around Lake Leonida. Very believable. Definitely. There's a big lake. There's definitely could be a bike trail around it. I think it's believable. Most houses and buildings are now enterable. Around 60% of them. You'll be able to enter the houses and apartments in the city and explore their interiors. Most of them are somewhat generic at a certain level with a few variations in terms of entity sets and IPLs. I think NPCs will call the police when you trespass into their house, and they'll try to arrest you. There's at least 2,000 enterable buildings in the game. Okay, so they said that there's no burglary in this game. The leaks are saying that, but then there's also saying that that NPCs would possibly trespass you, maybe similar to Red Dead Redemption, where they'll get pissed at you for going in their house. But I hope that you can at least still steal stuff from their house, because if they're going to be all of these enterable buildings, they have to have something to do in them, something to steal, something to take from those buildings, something to do in those buildings. But yeah, if we have 60% of the buildings are enterable, I think that will definitely be revolutionary, and I think that's what they might be going for. They might add so many buildings that are enterable, so I think it's believable. But that's still a crazy detail because when you think about it, GTA 4 had such little buildings that you could actually go into. It is believable, I will say, but like I said, I hope that these buildings have some kind of purpose. You'll be able to rent hotels and motels in the game. Believable. I think so. I think it could, I think it could definitely be a thing. Yeah, yeah, probably. When you go to a different part of the map, depending on how big the map is, and you don't want to go all the way back to your safe house, if you want to rent a hotel room or a motel, yeah, it's believable. Um, the cover system has been completely overhauled, and it's now much more realistic. This can be verified by most of the videos and the leaks, by the way. Okay, yes, very believable. Also, the cover better be overhauled. It better be. We this is 12 years later, so the cover system better be better than GTA 5's cover system. I hope that we have better ways to basically move from cover to cover. Stuff like that, peek around corners, like go around, stuff like that, kind of like in Watch Dogs, where you can basically go around the corner in cover, stuff like that. I think would definitely be good. So believable. Residents of Miami will be shocked with the accuracy of the city. Even the nightclubs are so close to what they are in real life. I think so too. Rockstar did a very good job with New York, with Liberty City. As somebody from New York, I tell you, they did a very good job capturing it. You had places like Central Park, you had Times Square. You didn't have places like Rockefeller Center, unfortunately. You had South Bronx, which was South Bohan. You had Coney Island, which is which is Firefly Island in the game. You have Hove Beach, which is Brighton Beach. So, as somebody from New York, even though it wasn't like a perfect thing, they were missing Staten Island, they did do a lot of neighborhoods very accurately. And they got the boroughs right. Broker, Brooklyn, Dukes, Queens, Bohan, Bronx, Algonquin, Manhattan, Alderney, not a borough, but, Alderney City, you had Jersey City. So very accurate for New York. Chainsaw won't be a weapon as the media channels reported. That's disappointing, but it's believable too. But Chainsaw was such an iconic weapon in Vice City. So I wish they would have come back, but probably not. October 14, 2023, some of the things I posted before were not accurate, so I removed them. My source corrected me. That's it, guys. Again, please take these things with a grain of salt, as I won't be able to provide you with any proofs. Treat this thread as a speculation, and for F's sake, please chill out and let them cook. The game will be amazing. Okay, so, I would say that most of the stuff in here, most of it is believable in here. The thing that I'm just having a hard time believing that the map is only going to be 30 to 50% bigger. Because if this is coming out on the next, this is coming out on PS5, a lot of us are expecting this map to be, way bigger. Look at Ghost Recon Wildlands. Ghost Recon Wildlands came out in 2017, and that map is so much bigger than GTA 5's map. Way bigger. I have to, check, but that, Ghost Recon Wildlands is such a big map that, I think Ghost Recon Wildlands is even 4 times the size of GTA 5. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the largest, map I've played in a third-person game. I think was Ghost Recon Wildlands. So this is the one that I'm just having the hard time believing. This is the map size. I think the map is actually going to be way bigger than 30 to 50%. And the Bahamas. The Bahamas one, I'm treading lightly on it also. Because if it's based on the Bahamas, it's going to be a separate country, like I said. So that I'm treading, with lightly. So those two, but everything else on here, for the most part, I think is believable. Just Bahamas and the map size. And I'm not saying that my points are true, by the way. They could very much add the Bahamas, and also the map could only be 30 to 50% bigger. But I'm just giving you guys my thoughts. I'm not saying what I'm saying is fact. I'm just giving you my opinion as a big GTA player. Okay, and this is where we have a lot more of these leaks. GTA 6 plot and mechanics, and I'll link these below also if you want to check them out. This is 2 years ago. Again, first off, this thread contains spoilers, so if you're not willing to receive any spoilers, I suggest you not continue reading this thread. I posted this thread originally on GTA 6, but moderators insist on deleting it for some reason without reaching out to say why. I won't be able to give my source in this information. I completely understand everyone who's skeptical, and I'm not just one more of those. A friend of a friend told me about this, believe it or not. I have a reliable source that worked on the game. I'm not asking you to blindly believe what I say. I ask you is to please have some patience and wait until the teaser trailer gets released, as it will likely confirm the information I will provide on this thread. Also, please take this information I say on this thread with a grain of salt, as the game is still in development. The information I'll provide here might have changed over time. I strongly suggest you set reminders to check this thread again in the future. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, And I remember that GTA 6 Countdown says this is the leak we got in October 2023, which Insider Legacy Killa claims is real. So we got Legacy Killa, does a lot of gaming news, is claiming that this is real. You know, he's backing it according to GTA 6 Countdown here. Uh, but let's read through this. I was surprised by my source when I was told that Lucia has a baby that she abandons at a delicatessen before heading out to a bank robbery and then getting arrested for doing such an act. Okay, I will tell you, this is the stupidest one so far, is this one right here. This is just so stupid and just so idiotic. I personally think this is just ridiculous and just effing stupid. That's what I basically think about this. Now, what I will say about this is one thing that shocked me is the comments aren't really talking about this. Like, people in the comment section aren't really talking about how ridiculous this is. Like, this is the first thing that catches my eye, and I don't see that many people talking about why this sounds so ridiculous. I think it personally is, but I think more people should talk about this first point, why this is so ridiculous. Lucia has a baby that she abandons at a deli before heading out to a bank robbery and then getting arrested for doing such an act. Um, if Lucia got arrested for a bank robbery, she would be in prison for a very, very long time, and it would probably be federal charges. So bank robberies are not something you just sit for a few years in prison for and you get probation. That is something that you go into prison for a very long time. But if she's getting arrested for dropping off the baby, possibly after a few years she could get probation depending on how severe it is. But I will say this: when you guys think about this, right? Doesn't that sound kind of weird? And would that not make you hate Lucia as a character? Because, like, think about it. Is if we play as Lucia, right? And she goes to a convenience store and she just abandons her baby there because she doesn't want anything to do with that baby. Like, would that not make you hate the character? Would that not make you dislike the character? And I don't think Rockstar wants us to hate the characters that we're playing as. The characters that we play as in the Grand Theft Auto games, they are criminals, after all. They're scumbags. But I never had it to a point where I hated a GTA character. You know, even Claude, who's, betrays everybody and has no empathy, I even liked him. But, like, you know, leaving a baby at a convenience store, when you think about that, I mean, come on, really? I don't think that's true. And also, if Lucia did have a baby, I think this would piss a lot of people off in the story because people want to focus on the relationship between Jason and Lucia, and they don't want to deal with, like, a baby that Lucia possibly has in the story, and then she's, like, trying to go back for her child, and then this information doesn't even reveal who the father is because it suggests that she meets Jason later, so Jason is probably not the father. But it says it is not known if the baby was a boy or a girl, and obviously there will be no kids in the game. This only happens in a cutscene as a flashback of the past. I have no information about what happens to this baby at this point. Okay, yeah, and if a few years passes, this is not a baby anymore. This is a child. If a few more years passes, so I just think this is ridiculous. She abandons a baby at a convenience store, and then she heads out for a bank robbery. And I will say this: if she's abandoning a baby at a convenience store, there better be a good reason for doing so. There better be a good reason, because I can't even imagine Trevor. Not even Trevor would do something like that, like abandoning a baby at a convenience store. So there better be a good reason for this, because if there is not a good reason for this, and she just abandons the baby because, like, I want to commit crimes, I want to rob banks and stuff like that, that's my main reason for abandoning my baby, I guarantee you that a lot of people are going to hate her. A lot of players would hate her. I would hate her too. I would get pissed at her too. I would say that she's a total scumbag. I would get pissed playing as her. So that's basically what I would say about that, is I just do not believe the baby point here. I think that some of the other information is credible, but I just do not believe this part here. I just think it's just too ridiculous, and it would just make us despise the character. And also, imagine the amount of controversy this would generate, because GTA already generates controversy, but imagine that. Like, they would say that the media would start saying, oh, you're playing as a woman who abandons her baby just because she wants to rob banks, stuff like that. And if she wanted to abandon her baby, why didn't she just take the baby to an orphanage? Why did she drop it off at a convenience store? Like I said, I just think the baby point is the most ridiculous one here. After a few years, Lucia gets released on probation. She's picked up at the prison by Jason, who's planning a robbery with her, and they'll fall in love with each other after some time. Okay, so, guys, what I want to mention here is I want to show you a clip right now. This is from my playthrough of Vice City Stories. Vice City Stories, this is in the 3D universe, but again, this is what Vice City in HD universe, which GTA 6 is based on the city. And in that game, Vic Vance's, girlfriend, Louise, which it's kind of arguable she was his girlfriend or not, but I would say she was. She has a baby. And the baby is actually a huge plot point of the story, and you never end up finding out what happened to the baby, because the baby actually gets taken by her sister after she passes away. But let me show you the clip here.
Hey, Vic. How are you?
Getting better.
Well, all right.
Hey there.
You deserve good things, honey.
Maybe.
Better than this shit.
Hey, come on. What's wrong?
Nothing. Everything. It's bullshit. I mean, I'm a fucking mess. Didn't finish high school. Got a kid by a goddamn prick. Living on my sister's couch. No hope.
Come on, you're just going through a bad time right now. Things will improve. You'll see.
Show me a way out. Just show me a fucking way out.
I don't know. Look at it this way. I've been kicked out of the military. Now I'm working with jerks, robbing people, all to pay for my brother's medical bills. While my mother freebases half the money I send anyhow. I am not the one to ask for advice. Yeah.
Look at us. What a pair.
Pathetic, huh?
Worse than pathetic.
Hey, you want to go out? Maybe get some fresh air? Have some fun?
Sure. Sounds good. Say, Phil said there was a quad bike race at the trailer park.
Hey, there you go. Hey, great. Quad bikes and moonshine. Let's go.
So basically, you saw that clip is either one of two things is going on here. Either, one, this story is true. This story is true, and so I'm not calling this person a liar. It could very well be true, but I just find it ridiculous. Like I said, if I'm wrong on this, I will admit this. So I'm not going to accuse somebody of being a liar, but I find the baby part ridiculous. If this baby part is true, then it's heavily inspired by Vice City stories, definitely. And it might end where we don't find out what happened to the kids, similar to, what happened with Luis. So, something like, I'm not saying Lucia's going to die, but it might be going somewhere along those lines with that there. And, the other thing is that this person could have basically made it up based on the point from Vice City stories. That's what it is. They could have made it up based on that. So again, I'm not calling the person a liar. I don't want to repeat myself. I don't want proof that they're lying. But it's either this is heavily inspired by Vice City stories, or they got it from Vice City stories. It's either one of the two. Either they're telling the truth or they're not. After a few years, okay, we read this part here. The majority of the planning for the missions takes place in a nightclub called The Vault. This is believable. It is possible. In the GTA 6 trailer, we see them at a nightclub a lot of times. Yeah, so we see them at a nightclub a lot. And so this is believable. I think it is true that the nightclub could very well be a place where they're planning robberies, they're planning heists. Yeah, so the nightclub is emphasized a lot in the trailer. And the trailer again came out in 2025. The leaks came out in October 2023. Also, in the Raul Batista 1 screenshot, we see him on the phone, and this looks very much to me like some kind of heist planning room, because he is a bank robber, and he is going to be enlisting the help of Jason and Lucia for these heists, so this to me seems believable. I think it's pretty believable with the nightclub. In the very first mission of the game, you control Jason, and you have to follow a plane that is about to land and carries a Russian drug dealer. Apparently, Jason meets this guy and starts to plan a mission to steal drugs. In this drug-stealing mission, they are chased by the police, and the drug ends up falling into the ocean. There is a following mission where they will have to dive to retrieve it. Okay, so about this, let's take a look at the trailer here. So you see this here. This is from the trailer. This is at the 2-minute and 16-second mark. It says that Jason has to follow a plane. And you see here, Jason is in a buzzard. And looks like the Florida Everglades to me. This is probably the place where they're going to be smuggling drugs. This is probably it. On the speedboats, the speedboats and also like the fan boats, this is probably what they're going to they're going to have sections like this in the game. So possible this is the next part of that mission. And this part right here, this is Jason says he's following a plane, right? So Jason's on a motorcycle, and there's a plane flying right over him. Very, very close to him. So this could very much be that. And then later on in this, we have a speedboat here, and there's a police helicopter. They're being chased by the police. So this could very much be that. That's very believable. This could very much be these scenes right here. You know, Jason is a drug trafficker after all. Remember that. He works for Brian Heater. Additionally, the other thing I wanted to talk about when it came to the Russian drug dealer, the fact that it's a Russian drug dealer, I think this is very important. Now, the Russian Mafia has a very big presence in Vice City, in the HD universe. We know this from GTA 4. If Rockstar is respecting the lore in their older GTA games, because GTA 4 is in the same universe as GTA 6, it's the HD universe, the Russian Mafia will make a presence in GTA 6. So, the Russian Mafia, they have a speedboat drug running operation from Vice City. So they run a series of speedboats, and they buy the drugs in Vice City, and then they basically bring them up to Liberty City by speedboat. Now, the Russian Mafia, their main base is Liberty City. That's where they're the strongest. But they still have some type of connection down in Vice City. And I know this from the mission Catch the Wave. Let me show you guys that. Make sure you read the text in this mission from my playthrough of GTA 4 where Nico helps Phil attack the Russian Mafia. The Russian drug runners are using the boatyard to smuggle cocaine into the city. The coke is brought in on speedboats from Vice City and has not yet been unloaded.
Hanging around, story of my life.
So, Vice City is mentioned here. It is a city in the HD universe.
Hey, buddy, we're here to pick up the shipment.
I don't speak English. Fuck off.
Hey, amigo, let's make this easy. I just want to give the stuff to my boss and go home.
I don't let anyone in here until I get the word. There's something wrong about you. Get out of the truck real
This isn't going
slow.
good.
Nico, looks like we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Shoot these commies!
You get hurt?
Now, some people would say, oh, these are Dimitri's goons and stuff like that. But you have to remember that when Dimitri died and Bulgarin died, Kenny Petrovich took over pretty much the entire Russian Mafia. The GTA 4's online multiplayer story takes place after GTA 4's story, and it confirms that. Kenny Petrovich is the boss of the Russian Mafia at the end of GTA 4. He controls pretty much everything when it comes to the Russian Mafia. He's the most powerful Russian Mafia boss, and yes, he is very much alive. Now, even though 18 years have passed, if he's still alive, he's probably getting older there unless somebody else took over. But some people are saying this is Kenny Petrovich that Jason is going to meet. If this is true, I'm telling you this right now, that it is not going to be Kenny Petrovich that he's going to meet. Like, it makes no sense. Jason is not the boss. So if Kenny Petrovich was to meet somebody, he would be meeting Brian Heater, who is Jason's boss. That's who he'd be meeting. He would not be meeting Jason. So what this guy is probably a guy from Kenny Petrovich's organization. So this is probably maybe even a character we already saw in the older GTA games. You know, something like that. But this is going to be a Russian character that is probably working possibly for Kenny Petrovich, and Jason is going to meet him. Apparently, Jason meets this guy and starts to plan a massive mission to steal drugs. In this drug-stealing mission, they are chased by the police, and the drugs end up falling into the ocean. There's a following mission where they will have to dive to retrieve it. Let me see here. There is a new mechanic for detecting threats and valuable items around you. This is not a special ability like Franklin's ability to drive cars with a special handling. This is a new mechanic that seems to be somewhat inspired by the Deadeye targeting from Red Dead Redemption 2. The mechanic is revealed in the Hank's Waffles dining robbery present in the leaked videos. Possibly, very believable. I think this is true. Remember, Michael had his special ability where he could slow down time. Trevor had an ability where he did more damage, and it's entirely possible that Lucia and Jason will both have their own abilities. So I think that it's very much possible that they'll have some of their own abilities. Rockstar has also been focusing on very detailed mechanics of searching places. This one seems to be also inspired by a mechanic from Red Dead Redemption 2. Also, pretty believable, realistic here too. This is probably true. Also, because the amount of detail that they put into Red Dead Redemption 2, when it comes to GTA 6, people are going to expect that exact same type of gameplay. The detail to it, opening up drawers, looking through drawers, opening up cabinets, basically stuff like that. That level of detail, people are going to be wanting to want that in GTA 6, are going to expect that. That's all I can reveal for now, guys. Again, please come back to this thread when the game gets released. And after Rockstar releases a teaser trailer, as it will potentially include some of the information I said here, see you again soon. So, like I said, guys, I think that there's stuff that is true in this. I think some of these leaks are true. But I think that there is stuff in here that's also BS. I think the most ridiculous thing in here is, I think, the baby. The baby, the fact that Lucia Ben is a baby, I think that is literally the most ridiculous thing. I think the Russian drug dealer stuff is believable if we follow, like, the lore of GTA 4. The lore of GTA 4. But again, it's kind of similar also to the first mission of Vice City Stories. That's basically what I'll say about that. So, I would say that from everything that I've read here in both of these leaks, I would say I believe maybe like 70% of it. 70% of it, I would say I believe, but 30% of it, I probably don't believe. The Bahamas part, probably not. I don't believe the part with the 30 to 50% bigger map. I expect it to be way bigger than that, and certainly not the baby part. The baby part, I definitely don't believe that. But let me know in the comments, guys, would that make you feel like, look down on Lucia, knowing that she abandoned a baby? Because I would tell you, even though she's a video game character, that would just make me hate the character. If, like, my first introduction to the character was that she just abandons a baby because she doesn't want it, and she just wants to commit crimes, that would kind of piss me off. So that's at least my viewpoint on it. But thank you guys for watching this. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'll link all these leaks down below. And again, I want to stress this, because I've said this a bunch of times. I'm not saying these leaks are fake, and I'm not saying these leaks are 100% true. I'm not really a speculating guy, but I'm just basically giving you guys my analysis on here too, on what I think, my opinion on a lot of this stuff. So I could be right, I could be totally wrong. I guess time will tell, and we will have to see. If I am wrong about this stuff and the baby stuff ends up being true, I will take that back when GTA 6 comes out. But I personally just think it's ridiculous. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.